Welcome back, everybody, to the Sunship Sports Channel, and welcome back to Blue and Gold Till I'm Dead and Cold. Thanks for joining us today, making us part of your day. Remember to like, share, subscribe, definitely comment. Let me know if I'm losing my mind about the Irish or if you think I'm nailing it right on the head. So we're going to get into the Clemson matchup this weekend, but something else that I want to do in our second segment is kind of toy around with what we think the roster is going to look like next year and the year or so after that as well. There are some players that may be back next year that we didn't think would be coming back. That extra COVID year has definitely given some opportunities to people who want to get one more year in to impress the NFL scouts. So first, we're going to jump right into the Clemson game. A lot of people think this could be a trap game, possibly. Clemson's got a lot of NFL players, folks. I mean, I know that they're 4-4, but they've averaged beating teams 28-21. So even though they're a 500 team, they're defeating their opponents on average by a touchdown. So it's not that they don't have talented players on the team. Now, Notre Dame is 7-2. Currently, we are ranked 15th in the college football playoff rankings. Notre Dame is 12th in points scored, over 38 points a game. And currently our outstanding defense. I mean, the Notre Dame's defense is just playing out of their minds right now, limiting opponents to just over 15 points per game. That's 10th in the nation. So that could be a focal point of this game coming up because both these teams have really nice defenses. They really do. Like I said, Clemson has several players on their team that I personally believe are going to end up in the NFL. Let's just look at a couple of them, especially on that defensive side of the ball. Defensive lineman Ruke Ororo, Tyler Davis, both linebackers, Carter and Jeremiah Trotter, outstanding. Cornerbacks in the safety rooms, Mickens, Wiggins, Makuba, all those guys are going to get drafted. And they're all starting on Clemson's defense. Now, have they performed up to what we think they're capable of doing as a unit? No. They got boat raced in their first game of the season at Duke, but I think that they have played better then. Now, they've had some tough games. And we're going to get into that, and we're going to dissect from a lot of different angles what we think could happen in this game. Notre Dame wants to impress the college football playoff panel, get to 10-2, get a New Year's Day 6 game. I would love to go up against Brian Kelly and LSU. Let me know what you think in the comments about that. So let's talk a little bit about the tale of the tape here, because what you're going to see here when I lay it out for you is that these are two teams that are eerily similar in a lot of respects. Clemson is currently 16th against the rush. Notre Dame is 38th. So Clemson is stopping the running game a little bit better than Notre Dame is. Notre Dame, however, is third in the nation against the pass. Clemson is ninth. Not that Clemson's bad, they're just not third. Clemson is fifth in total defense. Notre Dame is 10th in total defense. Now, folks, that's not out of an NFL number like 32 teams. Those would be good for 32 teams. Being fifth and 10th, respectively, for Clemson and Notre Dame defensively, that's out of, 133 teams? So both of these rosters have real NFL players on the defensive side of the ball. They've got real superstars. Xavier Watts has been incredible for Notre Dame the last several weeks. So I look to see this to be somewhat of a lower scoring game because I just believe the defenses are dominant. Now, moving on to the offense, and this is where it gets a little bit tricky. You're going to start to see those ranking numbers go up a little bit, and that's not the direction you want to go. Notre Dame is 58th in rushing. Clemson is 68th in rushing, which seems a little shocking considering how Clemson has Will Shipley and Notre Dame has Audric Estime and Jeremiah Love. I mean, Jadarian Price. I mean, you would think that with those types of backs, and don't get me wrong, Audric Estime has had an outstanding season. He's rushed for over 900 yards in, 9 games, 6.2 average per rush, and he's got 12 touchdowns. That's an outstanding season by any stretch of the imagination, by any metric, and there's still 3 games left to play. But some of those statistics are a little bit skewered because he's had some enormous games where he's put up a lot of rushing yards in certain games. And then other games, it seems like both he and the offensive line just mailed it in. And we're, of course, going to talk a little bit more about that in the future here on this episode. Passing game, they're both pretty much dead even. Notre Dame is 44th in passing, Clemson is 46th. And that's a huge disappointment to both teams because after DJU left Clemson, I think they really thought that they had their guy in Cade Klubnik. And Cade has not had what you would call an outstanding season. I wouldn't call it a bad season. He's got 13 touchdowns to 5 interceptions, 1,900 yards passing, 62-ish completion percentage. It's just not what Clemson is used to, though, just not what they want. And on the Notre Dame side of things, Sam Hartman, I really do like Sam Hartman. I believe he's 18-5 or 18 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. A few more passing yards, 2,100, 2,200, somewhere around there. And he's closer to 65% completion percentage. But Notre Dame thought that Sam Hartman was going to be the guy to get them over the hump. And don't get me wrong, if it wasn't for Sam Hartman, we don't win that Duke game. And he has been a more proficient passer than what we've been used to, definitely with what we had last year with Drew Pine and Tyler Buckner. So not that Sam Hartman isn't playing well as a quarterback. I'm just disappointed because I thought with all of the accolades he came into this season that we were going to be a little further along than we are at the quarterback position. But I digress. Notre Dame is ranked 42nd in total offense. Now, I'm going by yards here, not points. Clemson is 49th, again, out of 133 teams. So I think both of those, when we're talking about offense, would probably rank lower especially among the Power 5 teams. So that's why I think these defenses are going to be on display at Clemson Saturday morning at 11 a.m. when these two teams kick off. I would love to see Sam Hartman and these young receivers break out. We'll see what happens. Now, obviously, huge injury news this week for Notre Dame. Mitchell Evans, our tight end who looked like he was becoming the next Michael Mayer out of nowhere, he gets injured. So he's done for the year. All the best wishes to him in his recovery. I'm sure he will be back next year. But guys, we're not thin in the tight end room. Holden Stays has had a very nice year as well. Eli Raridan is back now, and we just saw the freshman Flanagan catch a touchdown pass. So Notre Dame is in really good shape at the tight end position. Notre Dame is going to have to get those young receivers, Rico Flores, Jaden Greathouse, more involved. Chris Tyree finally has become a major focal point of the offense. I know that Jaden Thomas has been nursing that hamstring all year. He was supposed to be our wide receiver 1 coming into this year, but it just didn't turn out that way. When you look at these two teams, and I just read you the tale of the tape. You know, Clemson's 5th in defense. Notre Dame is 10th in defense. Notre Dame is 42nd in offense. Clemson is 49th in offense. Very, very similar where they're at nationally ranked. So why is Notre Dame 7-2 and Clemson 4-4? Well, the difference is turnovers. The Irish going in just against Clemson, they're a plus 12 over Clemson right now. Notre Dame is 10th in turnover differential this year. Only 9 turnovers all year. 9. They're ironically a plus 9 in the turnover differential category. So in that's an average of 1 turnover a game. Clemson is 97th. I'm going to repeat that. Clemson is 97th. They've had 20 turnovers this year. That's 2.5 per game, and they're a -3 on the turnover differential chart. You want to know why Notre Dame is 7-2 and Clemson is 4-4? There you have it. Clemson, since losing to Duke by 3 scores, they've got 3 one-score losses, 3 of them. They're 23 total points away from being 7-1 and still in the thick of it for the CFP. They had 2 overtime games, one of which was against number 4 Florida State. So, and that game was an outstanding, extremely fun game to watch. But they came up on the short end of this. you look at this team and you're just not quite sure why, because I would even go out on a limb and say there might even be more NFL players currently on Clemson than Notre Dame. Now, Notre Dame's got a lot of youth on their team, and some of these guys might grow into NFL players. But Clemson, you can look at the roster and just see. I mean, they've got guys on the offensive line. Walker Parks being hurt obviously has hurt the interior of that offensive line. So that's one of the reasons why their rushing game isn't as good. But he's a pro guy. I mean, you've got Will Shipley, who's Mr. All-Purpose Everything. He's going to be in the NFL. And then the 7 guys that I named on defense earlier, especially those linebackers, Trotter and Carter. So what this all comes down to is 2 great defenses, 2 questionable offenses. I think it's going to come down to quarterback play and taking care of the ball. And right now, Notre Dame has proven that they do a little bit better job in quarterback play and a lot better job taking care of the ball. So if Clemson turns it over 2.5 times to Notre Dame, Irish all day long. So our next segment, we are going to dive into what Notre Dame may look like next year. There's definitely some players leaving, but there's going to be some players that stick around that I don't think we were expecting to. And boy, look at the youth movement on this team. The recruiting classes that Marcus Freeman is getting, top notch. So we will be back in a minute and we'll dive right into it. All right, everybody. Welcome back to the Sunship Sports Channel and welcome back to Blue and Gold Till I'm Dead and Cold. I'm Chris, your host. Remember to hit the like button, the share button, the subscribe button. Make sure that you're telling all your friends about it. Leave us a comment. Let us know how we're doing. All right, so Notre Dame future offense. You see that on the screen as we speak right now. Gone after this year will be Sam Hartman, Audric Estime, and Joe Alt. Audric Estime and Joe Alt technically could come back, but you only have so many years as a running back in the NFL, so Audric Estime is going to go, and Joe Alt could be a top 10 pick. There's zero reason why he should stick around and risk injury when he already knows that he's going to be one of the highest paid rookies next year. But let's take a look at some of these positions moving forward. So offensive tackle, I think we're going to have Blake Fisher back next year. I don't think he's going to leave. Tosh Baker, Michael Carmody. Now, I've included in here, as you can see on the graphic, the year that they got to Notre Dame, or the year that they were a freshman at Notre Dame, and then what they were ranked in their class and their position. And Notre Dame has a lot of extremely high-ranking guys coming in. So we already have Emil Wagner on the team. He was the 11th rated offensive tackle in 2022. Ty Chan, also on the team, 17th rated tackle. Charles Jagasa, he's on the team right now, hasn't seen playing time yet, or a lot of it because of all the talented guys ahead of him. But he was the 8th rated offensive tackle in 2023. Sullivan Absher, 12th rated in 2023. And next year, we've got Gorby Lambert, who's the 7th rated tackle in 24 class. So Notre Dame's offensive tackle position, once again, looks extremely strong. Their offensive line looks extremely strong. So offensive guard, yes, we have Coogan, Spindler, Kristofic that have all been here. Billy Schrouth, who's here. I know that he hasn't gotten on the field yet, but he was the 5th rated offensive guard coming out in 2022. I think Billy Schrouth can be and will be really good. Joel Otting, 15th rated offensive guard in 2023. Here's where it gets a little bit tricky. I don't know if Zeke Correll is coming back. I think he should. I think he could, and I think he should. I think he would improve his draft stock. It's kind of funny that extra COVID year has given guys opportunities that otherwise wouldn't be there. NIL plays a big role into it as well. That's why Sam Hartman stuck around. He was able to get paid a little bit more at Notre Dame. But I think Zeke Correll could and should come back to be our center next year. We also have Ashton Craig, who in 2022 is the 27th rated center that came out. Now, we can also move Pat Coogan to center as well because we have that much depth at the offensive guard position. Now, I know that guard has probably been one of the, I don't want to say weaker because they're still extremely good guards, but Notre Dame thought that they were going to have the best offensive line in college football, and that just didn't happen this year. Joe Alt is, I would say, one of the top 2 left tackles. Blake Fisher has had a bit of a disappointing year, but he's still really good. I think Blake Fisher is only going to get better from here. All right, let's talk about wide receivers, and this is really fun. Chris Tyree, if he wants to, can come back. Chris Tyree, I think, should come back because he needs to prove to NFL scouts that he can be a slot receiver, that he's somebody who can take the top off of a defense. He's starting to play pretty well right now. I think another year in this system would prove what I already know, that Chris Tyree could be extremely dangerous at the next level. Deion Colsey, Jaden Thomas, Tobias Merriweather, they'll all be back. Jaden Greathouse, we've seen him already this year. 44th ranked wide receiver in the 2023 class. Rico Flores, the 49th ranked wide receiver in the 2023 class. We have not seen Braylon James yet, but he was actually the 20th ranked wide receiver in the 2023 class. Now, next year, I'm extremely excited about because we got Cam Williams coming in. Cam Williams is the 10th rated wide receiver in the 2024 class. Usually, a guy like Cam Williams ends up at Ohio State or USC or something like that, but Notre Dame got him. One of our highest overall. I mean, getting somebody that's 10th rated in the nation at that position, when you consider there's 133 FBS college football teams, and he's the 10th best wide receiver coming in that freshman class. I mean, he's going to be one of the best in college football. Micah Gilbert, 39th rated wide receiver in 24. Logan Saldate, 48th rated wide receiver in 2024. So the skill positions for Notre Dame are only getting better. Now, we already talked about Mitchell Evans and his season-ending injury. He will be back next year. Kevin Bauman, he's going to be back. He's got another year. Davis Sherwood, who can also play fullback, he'll be back. Eli Raridan, absolute freak of nature. He was the 2nd highest rated tight end in the 2022 class, but he's been hit with injuries, torn the ACL in the same knee twice. So as long as that kid can stay healthy, Raridan definitely has explosive capabilities. We've all seen what Holden Stays can do, has caught multiple touchdowns this year. He was the 21st rated tight end in the 2022 class. Cooper Flanagan just caught his first touchdown pass, the 11th rated tight end in the 2023 class. I mean, you're hearing these numbers like 7th and 10th and 11th. I mean, folks, that's the rating for the entire United States, not 7th in his state, which would still make him an outstanding prospect. We're talking 7th, 10th, 11th in the entire 50 states of the U.S. So these are incredible athletes that Notre Dame is getting now. James Flanagan, no relation to Cooper Flanagan, but James Flanagan, the 5th rated tight end coming in the 2025 class. So tight end U is continuing its dominance. Notre Dame is going to have extremely good tight ends for many, many, many years to come. Now, I'll do running back next. We'll do quarterback last because there's going to be some questions on that. Devin Ford, he could come back. I don't know if he will. The running back room is so deep. I don't see Devin Ford getting on the field a whole lot at this point, maybe in a kick return capacity. Jadarian Price will be back, 14th rated running back in 2022. Jabron Payne, 27th rated running back in 2022. Jeremiah Love. Dude has explosive written all over him. I love this kid's burst. 5th rated running back in the 2023 class. Next year, we get both Keidron Young and Aeneas Williams at the running back position. Keidron Young is the 3rd highest rated running back in the nation next year. And Aeneas Williams is the 20th. So having 2 of the top 20 running backs coming out is extremely important for Notre Dame, especially with what we want to do with our offensive line. Then in 2025, the 21st rated running back, Justin Thurman, is also coming to the Fighting Irish. So that is what the offense could and probably will look like moving forward here. We are going to move on to the defense here in just a second. The defense is even more interesting because I think our defense is going to be extremely dominant coming up. As you can see, we are going to lose Javonte Jean-Baptiste, DJ Brown, Thomas Harper, but it does look like we are going to be getting quite a few guys back. Defensive end, Jordan Botelho, Nano Osafo-Mensah, both of them, I believe, are going to be coming back. The future, though, I think the 6th rated defensive end in 2022, Josh Burnham, who can play linebacker as well. Aiden Gobara, in 2022, was the 17th ranked. Junior Tuialamaka, 14th rated defensive end / outside pass rushing outside linebacker in 2022. We just saw Boubacar Traore get his first sack the other game. 19th rated defensive end in 2023. Armel Mukum, 28th rated in 2023. Brennan Vernon, 43rd rated in 2023. And then already for next year, we've got Logan Thomas, the 14th rated defensive end in the 2024 class. And then the year after that, CJ May, the 18th rated defensive end in the 2025 class. So that's pass rushers galore at a high level. Defensive tackle, I'm not as sure about defensive tackle. I would love Riley Mills and Howard Cross to stay. I don't know if they do. Riley Mills has such an NFL body. He's 6'5", over 300 pounds. There's not a whole lot of fat on that guy. Riley Mills is an absolute beast. Howard Cross, he just has an unstoppable motor. I mean, he just will not quit. And both of them could go to the NFL and be mid-round picks. But I would love to see them stay, pump up their draft capital, and give Notre Dame another dominant interior defense. But we also have Gabriel Rubio, Jason Anye. Now, Tyson Ford, who's the 24th rated defensive lineman in 2022, Tyson Ford has not been as advertised for whatever reason. Now, I don't know why he's struggling to get on the field as much as what I'd like to see him. It could just be because Riley Mills and Howard Cross are really good. Javonte Jean-Baptiste is really good. Ford could play defensive tackle or defensive end, but he needs to do something to get his playing time up, because I don't know if it's something in practice, something one of the coaches is seeing, but he's just not beating the other guys out at this point. Donovan Heinisch, 80th rated defensive lineman in 2022. Devin Houston, 33rd rated defensive lineman in 2023. And then we have Bryce Young, the 13th rated defensive lineman in 2024. And I say defensive lineman instead of defensive tackle because a lot of these guys that I named, especially guys like Ford and Young, they're strong enough to play defensive tackle, but they're quick enough to play defensive end. So that could make them extremely versatile and dangerous for Notre Dame. Here's a little thing that's strange, and I would expect 2 out of the 3 of them to leave, but all 3 of our starting linebackers, J.D. Bertrand, Maris Leofau, and Jack Kaiser, could all come back for another year. They have the eligibility to do it. They have the COVID year, what have you. I think at least Bertrand and Leofau are going to enter the NFL draft. Bertrand is a tackling machine. Leofau is an athletic freak. I don't think Leofau has lived up to his billing. I think Bertrand has overperformed. Jack Kaiser is just a blue-collar lunch pail guy that comes in and buries his shoulder in your gut and makes a lot of tackles. I think we may see Jack Kaiser back. I don't think we're going to see Bertrand or Leofau, but we could. Jalen Sneed has played a lot of linebacker and a lot of pass rusher for Notre Dame. I think next year you're really going to see who Jalen Sneed is and why he was a 5-star coming out of high school. 5th rated linebacker / pass rusher in the 2022 class. Nolan Ziegler, 7th rated linebacker in the 2022 class. We also have Drake Bowen, 20th rated linebacker in the 2023 class, as well as Jaden Owsbury, the 21st rated linebacker in 2023 class. So Notre Dame is healthy again at linebacker. And then to top it all off with the cherry, Kingston Viliamuasa, or just KVA, 6th rated linebacker in the 2024 class. Kingston Viliamuasa, 6th rated linebacker in the 2024 class. Everybody wanted KVA, and Notre Dame got him. Defensive back, Cam Hart and Clarence Lewis. I think Cam Hart may go to the NFL. I think Clarence Lewis could use another season. They both have eligibility left. I would love to see Cam Hart back to pair him with Benjamin Morrison for another year. I think they would have a shot at being the absolute best cornerback duo in college football if that happened. Ryan Barnes, Chance Tucker, they'll be back. Jaden Mickey, the 28th rated cornerback in the 2022 class. Benjamin Morrison, Mr. Everything, 37th rated cornerback in the 2022 class. But man, has he jumped up in those rankings. If they were to go back and re-rank the 2022 class, he'd definitely be ahead of Jaden Mickey, who hasn't seen the field nearly as much as Morrison has. If Cam Hart leaves, I believe Jaden Mickey is going to be the guy playing opposite of Benjamin Morrison, and he will get his chance to prove why he was the 28th best cornerback in the 2022 freshman class. Christian Gray and Micah Bell, 22nd and 27th, respectively, in the 2023 class. Obviously, Bell has been out there, Gray has been out there, so I think that our cornerback situation moving forward is in a good spot. Safety, Ramon Henderson. I do believe he'll be back. He could leave for the NFL, but I don't see why he would. He's got more eligibility and he hasn't seen the field as much, so he may get another shot to see the field more if he comes back. Xavier Watts, I think he's going to be back too. Having an incredible season for the Irish. Antonio Carter, he should be back. Ben Minnick, the 19th best safety in the 2023 class. Aiden Schuler, 27th best safety in the 2023 class. And then next year, we have Bronte Johnson coming in, the 15th best safety in the 2024 class. Now, all of this stuff that I have gone over with you guys has largely been just a possibility because we don't know exactly who is coming back, who's not coming back. We have seen multiple players for multiple teams decide at the last minute they don't want to go to that school anymore and they're transferring someplace else. But Notre Dame, to their credit, has also done the same thing and snagged players away from other schools too. So Pat Narduzzi at Pitt really doesn't like us for some of those reasons. Anyway, the future for Notre Dame is bright. It really is. The recruiting is top notch when you look at the rankings of the recruiting classes. And, you know, there's so many different recruiting websites and things of that nature because people have different opinions. But the one thing that I'm seeing a lot of is Notre Dame with a lot of top 10 recruiting classes coming up. And that is going to do nothing but help this team. Marcus Freeman, I believe, is going to improve as a coach and a decision maker on the field. Yeah, and we'll have to see if we keep some of these elite pieces. Like Al Golden has designed an absolute outstanding defense. Is Al Golden going to be back with Notre Dame next year with as many head football coach positions are going to open up in college football? Or maybe he goes back to the NFL, or maybe he stays with Notre Dame. Chancey Stuckey, I think, has a shot to get to be somebody's offensive coordinator. Mickens, our defensive backs coach, he's ready to be a defensive coordinator. That comes right out of the mouth of Marcus Freeman himself. And a lot of these guys are the reason we're getting these top-notch players. The recruiting that these guys do is second to none. So if some of these coaches and recruiters leave, then Marcus Freeman is going to have to replace him. But I think there's a lot of people out there wanting to work with and for Marcus Freeman at this point because they love what he's doing with not just the recruiting, but the play of the Fighting Irish from Notre Dame. Notre Dame, for the longest time, has struggled with the quarterback position. Obviously, Sam Hartman has improved it somewhat, but when you see the guys coming in next year, and that's why I wanted to save quarterback for last, Steve Angeli is our quarterback, but he was only the 43rd rated quarterback in the 2022 class. I watched him at the spring game when my brother and I went to that a couple of years ago, and he looked really good. But we'll see, because he's going to have to hold some guys off. He's already got Kenny Minchey breathing down his neck, the 14th rated quarterback in the 2023 class. That's right. 14th rated quarterback in the entire nation in the 2023 class is already on Notre Dame's roster. Then next year, grandson of famous University of Michigan head coach Lloyd Carr, CJ Carr, who is the 5th rated quarterback in the 2024 class, is coming to South Bend. Him and our wide receiver recruit, Cam Williams, the 10th rated wide receiver in the same class, both of them, Williams and Carr, have hit it off extremely well. Carr and Williams have been recruiting other players to come to Notre Dame to play with them, and that's the kind of stuff that you want to see. But it doesn't stop there. The following year, we've already gotten a commitment from Deuce Knight, the 10th rated quarterback in the 2025 class. So the quarterback position for Notre Dame is about to get a lot better, a lot more competition. But I think you're going to see the quarterback play improve drastically. It's already improved drastically this year with Sam Hartman. I know I'm sounding like Sam Hartman's terrible. He's not. Sam Hartman is a really, really good quarterback, and I think he's probably going to be a mid to late round pick in the NFL draft. But some of these guys coming up behind him, like Minchie, Carr, Knight, they could all be early round quarterbacks if they live up to the billing that they are getting coming into college football. So with that, I want to thank everybody for joining us on this episode. I know it's been a minute since I dropped one, but hopefully that is in the past and you'll be seeing more. Folks, good luck to our Fighting Irish of Notre Dame this weekend at Clemson. Go Irish, and I will see you next time.